welcome to vlog number five already. I thought I'd come and start the vlog today with a bit of reality because a few of my startings lately have had beautiful blue skies, and that's just not actually representative of how the weather's been lately. So it's raining, it's quite cold. When the sun does come out, there is a teeny bit of warmth in it, which is really, really lovely. But yeah, most of the time it isn't like that. Yeah, so I thought I'd just come and say hi in the rain. I've been down on the allotment this afternoon and I'm going to show you some of the things that I've been doing. I've set up a no-dig bed. It's a bed that already existed, but I work in a no-dig method, so just kind of prepping that for the season ahead. I've had a cup of tea. I've sorted out my little seating area a little bit more, moved a bit of manure to set up a bed for some beans. What else have I done? I've just pottered around really. It's been quite nice. Children aren't here today, so yeah, it's just me. So I have just messed around really, which has been lovely. I'm slowly getting the jobs done. I feel like I'm making little bits of progress, which is nice. Oh yeah, so I hope you enjoy having a watch of me pottering around on the allotment, mostly in sunshine, but also in the rain. So last time I was down here, you'll have seen me planting out some spring cabbage that I grew from kitchen scraps. So I was really happy to pop down here today and see some lovely green growth happening in the polytunnel. I've put this box over the top just to give it a bit of extra protection. There's also a bit of broccoli growing in here and some bunching onions. These are perennial, so I just leave them in here. They come up year on year and you just snip the leaves off and use them as spring greens. There's also a teeny weeny self-seeded Cavolo Nero that I'll let grow on. And a bit more, well, I don't know if that's a kale or a broccoli or what it is. We'll find out. It's also really lovely to come into the greenhouse and find some little plants growing. These are the foxgloves and the 9-star broccoli that I potted on the other day. They seem to be doing really well. There's also some slugs lurking around underneath those pots and in the crevices, so make sure you're checking for those. And I did find a couple of these little chrysalises too, so I've left them to do their thing. So the biggest task today was to do a bit more tidying up. So this is the little seating area that we're making where the polytunnel used to be. I was just moving a table, popping up some climbing things, moving a little bench, just making it a bit more beautiful really. Once the plants get in here, I'm sure it'll be gorgeous. I also added a bit of food for the birds and had a cup of tea and had a sandwich with greens from the garden. Then it was time to get some proper work done. So it was off with the barrow to go and get some manure. I did have a little stop off at the seed library. This is a bring and take situation. Everybody on the allotment just pops their spare seeds into here and then whoever wants them can take them to grow on, which is brilliant. Having manure available a lot of the time at the allotment is really, really helpful. Not only to top up the compost bins, but to mulch. There's also the wood chip for the paths and things like that. So that is just brilliant. I know a lot of allotment sites aren't as lucky as us, but we really appreciate it. Today I was barrowing some manure, which I'm going to use to help make my bean patch extra fertile. got my manure. I'm really sorry if the screen's a bit wobbly. I've managed to prop the phone up, but it's quite windy today, so if you feel like you're at sea, that's why. So what I'm doing is I'm planning to grow some beans in this area. Excuse me. The sun comes round this way. Beans like loads of sun. I figure where my phone's popped up where you are right now is my compost heap. So if I grow my beans up here, it'll be a nice screen between the seating area and the compost heap. I had some squash growing in here last year when it was inside the polytunnel that blew away. So what there is in here is already quite rich, but I'm just topping it up with some manure because that is free on our site. So it's good to use the materials at hand. I can top it up with that, bit of compost over the top, and the beans should be really happy in there. So I'm just spreading what was here already that we brought down last time. Say we, my son brought down last time. And I've already, as you can see, just kind of dumped some of the spent plants in here. One of the weeds on my allotment are brambles. They're everywhere. So I'm just going to collect those up, pop those on the compost afterwards. I do find that as long as I dry out the weeds, that was my top tip from one of the old allotmenters when I first came. Don't put the weeds fresh onto your compost heap necessarily, but if you let them dry out, dandelions, brambles, things like that, and then put them on, you shouldn't really have any problem with them. So I'm just going to spread this around. As you can see, the compost that's in there is pretty nice. So what I might do is shuffle that over here and try and put the manure underneath, at least on one side, which is going to be easier said than done, but we'll do it. So I'm going to put my manure on top of those weeds and spent plants, and that was ambitious, and some bits of coffee cups, like that. Really good. I'll share a link to where it came from in the comments and the description, but it's really good because it kind of does the job of a spade and a fork at the same time, and it's got this really good handle, so you can kind of, you know, it kind of is good for all kinds of maneuvers. It's not actually that warm today, but it's warmer than it has been, probably about 6 degrees, something like that. And all this sugar and manure has got me quite warm. So this is obviously going to be good stuff. It's got some little wormies in there. That's what we like to see. So I just spread this so it's kind of evenish. in there. And then I used more composty stuff from over here. Hopefully, lovely one side, and then I'll get manure for this side and hope that my compost heap produces some more compost for this side. You can see there's some roots left over. Sniffly nose. I'm hoping it's not cold now. Hopefully it's just okay. It's looking alright. A lovely bed for beans. Last year in this bed I grew some celeriac. I say I grew celeriac. I tried to grow celeriac. Well, I'll show you. This is the celeriac. This is what. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful specimens. I mean, that one, it's still got its little coir pot. Look at that. Yeah, it's got some kind of weird maggoty thing happening in there. As you can see, not very appetizing. Didn't grow very big at all. I need all the tips on celeriac if I'm going to grow that again. If I'm honest, I'm not sure I'm going to bother this year because I think it's just too hard for me. But if you've got any secret tips, do let me know. I'd love to hear them. But I'm not going to grow that in this bed this year. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to put in here yet. Possibly shallots. Either way, I'm going to just no dig. So no dig is the way forward as far as I'm concerned, because it's super easy and all it takes is some cardboard and some compost. Now the compost that's in here is really good. These were new beds a couple of years ago, so I had some topsoil in them, and then they've been topped up with manure as well over time. So I'm not too worried about adding too much in the way of new nutrients. The main thing is to get rid of the plants that are in here and any weeds that might have blown in. I don't want those to grow. I do, however, want this nice foxglove, so I'll just pop that there and I can just move that to the part of the allotment. And all I'm going to do is pop the cardboard down on top of whatever's there. This is stuff that I've stored at the side of the compost heap, so as you can see it's already starting to rot down, but it's doing absolutely fine. Another top tip is obviously take off any sellotape, but to make that really easy to do, let your cardboard get soggy first. So if you look here, it just literally pulls away instead of making a really hard job of it. That's it, done. So this can come on here. Get rid of any more sellotape. I don't really like standing on the beds too much, but as you can see I'm doing it for this. But as the plants are growing, I'll avoid standing on the bed as much as possible. Or perennial weeds that you're struggling with, it might be a good idea to do 2 lots of this, 2 layers of cardboard. For that I would first of all soak this cardboard because it makes it a lot easier to rot down if it's wet. So we'll soak that. If you've got perennial weeds or it's new ground and you're covering grass or something, do another layer of cardboard and soak that before you put your compost on. So I'll just get some water. Okay. Here's the water. Give it a good soak. Sellotape there. This is obviously a dry bit because it's not going to freeze it. There we go. I'm a bit short on cardboard at that end, but I'll just finish that off another time. And then I've just got some compost here, and this is a mix of my own compost, some coir that I'd used last year, so that's already been mixed up, but it'll be good for drainage. I have very heavy soil here, so it's good to add as much light organic matter as possible. Oh, I've got a little centipede in here. Let's show you the centipede. So, all wildlife here. Can you see there? Ooh. Oh, I dropped him. Come back, centipede. There he is. We can go back in there. There we go. So, I'm just going to sprinkle it on. You've got lots of the coir pellets now. These don't seem to rot down very well, so I'm going to take all the little bags off them. I know they are meant to decompose or biodegrade really easily, but I just tend to find the light tea bags and they just stay where they are. So I'm going to take those off. Don't really want them. So this will add, the compost that I've made will add some new nutrients to the ground. As I said, it will help with the drainage, but it will also just protect the soil underneath for the rest of the winter. I might cover it with something else as well, but that, and a plant label, that'll do the job. No dig, super easy, and it makes planting in the spring so much more satisfying when your beds are just ready to go and you can plant straight into them instead of having to do all the hard work of weeding and things first. So yeah, if you are just starting out maybe, or you're taking on an allotment that has a lot of work involved, I definitely recommend just setting up even just a couple of no dig beds that are really easy to do. You can literally do it straight onto grass, and just give yourself a bit of motivation really, so that come the spring you can get sowing. some more Jerusalem artichokes. This is where I've had them growing this year. Well, where I have them growing every year. I do grow some in pots as well. So I'm just going to pull up the sticks so I kind of know a bit where I'm aiming to find them. They can just go in the compost. And then I'll just scoop them around in here and hopefully find some good ones. I found a few that the slugs have got to first. Got the bramble here. Ooh, very quickly. Yeah, I found a few with a bit of slug damage, but mostly they've been pretty good. So let's see what we can find. Lovely. I'm definitely should be wearing gloves. I don't really get round to wearing gloves gardening very much. I tend to just get my hands in the soil. And you know, there's lots of benefits to getting your hands in the soil. There's a lot of research to show that it's like a natural antidepressant. So yeah, you want to be happy, get your hands in the soil. I think just being outside makes you feel a bit happier as well, doesn't it? There's loads in here. So it's been, I find, although I do grow Jerusalem artichokes in pots because they are quite vigorous, and they do grow so well that once you've got them, it's kind of difficult not to have them anymore. But they grow far better in the ground. Now this is probably due to my poor approach to watering. They like to be well watered. They can cope with drought, they can still grow, but you won't get as big a crop, and they won't grow as big. So this is a very difficult one to get out. I might have to get a spade for that one. Trouble. They've kind of grown under this bed a little bit, so I'm trying to get these ones out because I don't really want them in that bed. So as much as possible, I'll remove the ones that have grown right at the edge here. But yeah, got some more here. It's a really good one. So more Jerusalem artichokes on the menu for us this week. I've just noticed here that the corn salad that I had growing here last year has self-seeded really amazingly well under all these leaves. You see here. So these are all little baby corn salad plants. And corn salad, if you don't grow it, is a really lovely salad leaf. I think it's also called lamb's lettuce. It grows, as you can see, in the cold, no problem. The only problem here is these are all really crowded. So these aren't going to grow into great plants because there's just too many so close together. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove some of these, put them into these modules. I don't think they'll need to come inside. They can stay outside. They're obviously quite happy out here. And then I'll get some better plants that I can then put into a bed. I'll just let them establish themselves. I don't really have a bed that would be good for them to go into straight away. So this way I'll sort out getting the plants and put them into a bed in a few weeks' time when they've established some roots. So I'm just gonna lever out some of these. As you can see, these are really good little plants. Ooh. There we go. Gorgeous. This is my favourite type of gardening. Easy and free. The plants have literally done the work for me. So lamb's lettuce, similarly to American landcress, is such a good self-seeder that once you have it, you're pretty much always going to have it. They just come back year on year. And because these have grown outside, they'll be really hardy little plants. Sometimes at this time of year you can start things off indoors, and the plants are kind of weaker than they should be because they're too pampered, whereas these have been exposed to all the elements, and also they're a plant that does well in the cold. You know, it's a good winter salad leaf. So I've got way more plants than I could possibly need here. They're even growing here in the bricks. I'm going to leave those because they look so pretty there. And yeah, I'm just going to choose a few more of these big ones. There we go. I would taste the leaves, but my fingers are so dirty. I don't think I will. I think I'd be eating more soil than salad, really. Charles Dowding does tell us that a bit of soil is good for you, but I don't think I want to test that out right now. I think my my cup of tea and chocolate brownie is sounding more appealing. So there we go. A whole tray of plants. Salad for free. There were so many of those little seedlings that I decided it would be a shame for them to go to waste. So where I've planted the garlic, you can just see it coming up here, I thought it would be a really good idea to underplant the garlic with some lamb's lettuce or corn salad. I'm just putting down a bit of coir just to loosen the ground a little bit as it kind of mixes in, the weather will mix it in, and I'm just popping in some of these seedlings. Hopefully they'll grow and be a little bonus crop. So last year I grew some dahlias. I haven't really grown dahlias before. They were absolutely beautiful. I was amazed. They were sent to me from Andy at Dahlia Beach, which was really kind of her, and I feel really bad because I haven't looked after them as I should. I know that Andy herself has had problems with her dahlia tubers rotting in the ground. Sad to say, I have left mine in the ground. I've decided that I'm going to be brave and have a little look. I did put some hasty mulch on in the form of a barrow load of manure in the autumn, but whether that's been enough to actually save them or not, I don't know. So this is what is left of the dahlias. All I'm going to do, I don't know if I want to lift them or if I'm just going to leave them in the ground now, because really, you know, can it get any worse? But this isn't dahlias, by the way. This is a wallflower. So yeah, I'm going to feel around and just see if the tubers are still firm or not, or if they've just all gone to mush. I wish us luck. Here we go. I'm just scraping around here. Oh, so actually that feels not too bad there, I think. I don't know though. So maybe I'll just have to lift it to see. I don't think I'm going to be able to tell. Oh, I don't know. Right here, I'm feeling one of the tubers, I think, if I just bring you over to have a look. So I'm feeling here. That's manure. That's manure. But this, that's a tuber, and it actually feels quite firm. It's a little, maybe teeny bit squidgy there, but that is all firm. That's firm. That's the, sorry, all these weeds are not helping. All the bits that shouldn't be here. That's better. That's the top of the plant, and that feels pretty firm. This tiny little tuber here feels pretty firm. And probably somebody's going to say you shouldn't be doing this, but yeah, I just want to have some hope that they're going to come back for me. But yeah, down there, that all feels actually okay. So I might just cut off this growth, cover it all back over, and hope for the best, I think. Might just have a little dig here as well and just see if this one's the same. I know this one I'm not so sure. It's firm-ish. That one is not firm, look. That one is squishy. That one is really squishy. So maybe not this one. That bit feels okay. Some of it feels okay and some of it doesn't. Now, I'll take that rotten bit off. That bit's squishy too. So now I don't know, do I take off the squishy bits? Do I dig them up and store them for a bit now? You know, are they salvageable? Any hints on dahlias, please get in touch and let me know. It will be much appreciated. Time for a sit down and a cup of tea in the shed, I think. Back at home, I've started some sowing. I've used some of these coir discs to sow some chard, and also this little chilli pot with seeds, which also has coir in it. So a few more chilies that I've sown as well. I find soaking the coir pots or coir in hot water makes them swell up much quicker. I've also been sowing leeks, shallots, lettuce, broad beans and a few other bits and bobs. It's lovely to be sowing the seeds and they look great in my grow cupboard. I can't wait for them to grow. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. See you next time.